Hey guys, I'm Pete Wright with PluggedInPhoto.com, and today I'm in Columbia, Maryland at Pictobooks. Pictobooks is one of the industry's leading album makers, basically because of all the customization that they make. Today I'm here with Chan Park, and he's going to tell us about all the really amazing things that they can do. Chan, tell me a little bit about Pictobooks, the history, how long you've been around, and some of the cool stuff that you guys are known for.
Sure. We've been in business for the better part of 10 years. We've certainly come a long way in 10 years. What we're really known for in the industry is the really high-end nature of our books when it comes to the customization. We can tailor a book really whatever your heart's desire is, so the sky's really the limit.
So a photographer can call you with an idea and say, I want to try this or I want to do that, and you guys can basically take their idea and run with it. So if they had a bride, for example, that said, I want to wrap my gown as the cover for my album, or my daughter's christening gown for her christening album, you guys can do that kind of stuff.
Sure, yep. We can use the bride's dress, we can use the maid of honor's dress, anything you want to do, whether it's a fabric, a leather, a faux leather, regardless of the size of your book, whether it's a vertical orientation, horizontal orientation, really the sky's the limit. Now, with covers, we can do almost anything. So,
and I know we're going to talk about some of the amazing ones soon. I can't wait to get into those, because that to me is really one of the biggest draws of what you have, is that I'm not limited. I can actually basically go through, and if there's something that I've always wanted, you guys can create that. And I know we were talking earlier about themed albums, and when you were showing me this one, and right now themed events are what's in, it's what's hot. Themed weddings where they've got a Halloween theme or Christmas theme or whatever, or themed bar mitzvahs, themed Sweet 16, and you guys basically took where we ended and picked up where we left off and took it to a whole new level, because in the past, basically, once the wedding was over, all we could do was reflect their themed event in an album, and you felt like, well, we're going to create a product that allows them to take that and make it almost a four-dimensional experience after the event. So
sure.
Show me what you got here. This is really great.
This client is a bar mitzvah client. He's a huge Red Sox fan, so what we did is we tailored a graphic based on the love of his baseball. The album has a baseball motif. Most importantly is the printed motif of the baseball that outlines the book.
So like the stitching on it.
The stitching, yep. You got the photo of him on the front, the baseball in the back, showcasing the Red Sox.
And the image is like in the leather here.
Right.
Tell me, what is that? Explain that to me.
It's actually printed and fused on leather, but the really beauty about this album is that it's printed in 3D. So a lot of the embellishments are raised in 3D, and it really makes that book pop.
So you can do like a matching mini album, and these could, I mean, obviously these are just trinkets to show, but he could put baseball cards or anything from the party that was here, or the bride could put the invitations or party favors or things like that. So it's not just photographed in the album, but you can have physical items that are there that if it's something that they know is really going to grab attention in there, they could say, well, here's the actual item here. Sure. So it really takes it a whole new level.
Yep, and this is actually a hand-tailored case. It's got a maplewood core. It's tailored with the 3 compartments, one to put the mini in and 2 additional compartments for keepsakes. The cover is actually tailored very in the same fashion as an album is, with the same graphics. So everything is delivered to really be top-notch and match with the album. So this is one example of a themed album.
And it's got great dovetailing in here, so it's really well made, and it shows that customization versus something that's cheaply glued or tacked together. This is really well done.
Right, so even in our presentation cases, we take it another level.
That's phenomenal.
So the books are one thing, but it's also the presentation. In the presentation, we tailor everything with the wood box, opens much like that of an album, and most of our albums are delivered to match case and book. So.
And going, I mean, a step further with the theme idea, I mean, here's an album where you've even themed the cover. The inside being an Indian album, an Indian wedding, and you took the theme of all the decor and all the color and the henna and the jewelry and brought that right to the outside of the album.
Yep.
So it's not just your plain red cover with something, with names on it or anything, or a photo on it. It's literally brought out so that you have the theme carried throughout. It's just so much more ornate than what you're used to seeing.
This is actually an Indian client. She, we tailored the graphics to mimic the menu on the hand. A lot of the jewelry here was also, you know, zirconias and stuff like that were added just for that splash of, you know, decor. But this is another idea of the theme book. It's got their quotes on the back as far as their vowels, along with the Mendy. And this book is also delivered in a matching case.
That's phenomenal. Now, one of the things that caught my eye years ago when you guys were first on the scene was that you did something really neat with what you called a cameo. And most of the companies that I had seen at the time only had a plain leather cover with a cutout in it that basically the photo was stuck in there and it would slide around or move and you had to stick tape in there.
Sure.
And you guys took it to an extreme. You actually made more of a three-dimensional cameo that lifted up and it raised up and it had a nice feel to it. And you did this neat thing a few years later where you took it to another level and said, well, we can die cut it and customize, which is what I'm seeing here. Tell me about that, because that's just such a unique item. I've never seen that anywhere before.
Well, the cameos come a long way. We actually tailor the cameos with the liquid polymer. It used to be back, you know, when we first started making books, the cameos were your standard squares and rectangles. In the last several years, we took it another step farther and said, look, we can make these cameos any shape you want to. This being a cutout of the actual, the city skyline. So that's really unique, and that's something that is also above and beyond what we used to do with custom albums. So now you can take these cameos and really do anything you want with them.
That's fantastic. So now these are the products that have been traditionally always above and beyond, but now you've got some new products and you're introducing a new line of albums and a few new things, and I want to see those. Tell me about this new line here. And I know we've got a couple of different versions in it, but explain this to me, because this is such a unique thing. I mean, just the texture and the feel. I wish video had feel, because this is just this great three-dimensional raised texture to it. But talk to me about the way it opens and this unique new cameo that you have and everything with this album.
Well, this book is a really innovative concept. We're taking some of the ideas that we have in graphics and we're pressing them into leather. So now the leather is offered in an embossed design. The cameo is now offered in either your standard polymer cameo or it's now available in a metal cameo. The cool thing about this book is it's tailored to open like a French door. So when you open it, you have the valves.
Oh, look at that.
Right on the house. Yep, graphics that are right in front of your face. So you start off with an amazing graphic.
The things that the bride and groom say that are so special to them, they can literally have on the outside of their album, so it doesn't take away from the photos on the inside, and it gives a really nice intro.
And it can also be tailored as a calendar spine, so it opens from bottom to top, and it can also open in your traditional left to right. But it's opened as a French door, and it's really tailored to wow that client when they first open the book and they see the vowels on either side or the quotes to themselves or the you know, everything that the wedding they want to remember can be on the first page.
And so this is a more conventional size and shape of it here, is that correct?
Yes.
Same type album, but if your client wants more of a 10 by 10, 12 by 12 nature, it's still, again, you've got the vowels here, but now the album opens more conventionally.
Right.
And I love the fact that the opening here isn't just a plain black or a plain gray or whatever. It's got this neat texture and look and design.
Right, and that's what we were trying to go after. The initial book, when you would open it in the past, would always be a black moire. So we wanted to get above and beyond that idea and say, look, we want to open the first, you know, when you open the book, we want to have that wow factor right there. So the graphics are now tailored, or, you know, they're right on the first page.
So everybody else is out there worried about pimping my ride, and you're pimping my album, is basically what we're saying. If it comes to mind, you can do it, and you're showing that. And these albums can be delivered in these amazing boxes, but again, the same technique and care that goes into the box we saw here, just drops right in.
And it's really the presentation. Presentation is key, so we tailor all of our boxes to match.
So from a wedding package perspective, you could say, you know, a standard client might get something like this, the next level up might get this, the next level up might get this, and the box. You can just use it with your packaging to appeal to your clients as upsells, or if you've just got somebody that spent enough money with you, you just throw everything out.
Well, what makes us unique also is that everything is included with our books. So there's a flat rate, and then all your options are included.
So with this album, it comes with the box already.
It comes with the box.
Blows my mind. That's amazing.
So there is no nickel and diming you guys as the professionals. You choose what book you want, and we deliver.
Wow.
So and it's all delivered in the box, it's all inclusive, so there's no hidden fees.
Now, you've got some new products that aren't albums, and I'm going to move this behind me, because you've got some really cool new stuff that's just coming to market that, again, I think they're innovative ideas that are going to be really, really neat. This is one that I just saw the other day online. Tell me about this, because I think this is beautifully done and a brilliant way of presenting something to our clients.
Well, we took the best of both worlds, both the presentation in our cases and the albums, and we combined that to make a USB case. So the USB case is tailored in much the same fashion as albums are. The leathers are pressed, they're embossed. You also notice it's got a wooden core for the box, much like that of our boxes. It can be tailored with a cameo, a metal cameo, a nameplate, a monogram. But what really makes this interesting when you open it, it's personalized to the client where it has their initial pattern on the velvet. There's also a foam, a memory foam that the USB will sit nicely inside. The USB is also laser etched with their name. But it's really cool because it has the initial pattern of the client.
And it has the studio name etched into this velvet here.
Right. And
that's so cool. I've never seen that before.
And that gives credit back to the studio. Now you can choose to do that or not.
Or you can put their bride and groom's name and date here.
Sure.
So it's customized that however you want. And it's magnetic, so it keeps it closed.
Yep. And then it's magnetic. But it's a really great presentation for USB cases. A lot of times people are getting away from the DVD these days and they want a better presentation for their USBs. And especially if they're going to deliver albums with the USB, they can now match
it up.
Yep. So, like I said, presentation is everything. When you're delivering a book with the case and the USB together, you know, that client is going to be wow.
It's just, you're carrying the theme throughout.
Yep.
But if you've got a client or a photographer that's still delivering discs, you haven't forgotten about them. You actually have these great products specifically for delivering CDs or DVDs for them to deliver discs in.
Yep.
Which you have multiple options. You've got double discs, you've got photo on the inside, the same type thing with these great Cameo images on the outside, and they're very customized. So just beautiful, beautiful stuff that really lets you take your level of what you're delivering to your client a step beyond something that's just off the shelf and standard. This is really, really fantastic. So we just talked about these, which are fantastic, and I want to touch on another new product that you guys have. This is kind of a two-part product in that, not that you get both, but you have options of either or in two ways of presenting something which is kind of a new twist on an old product. So tell me about this. I'm going to step back and let you show this first, and then we'll come back over here and see this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually a really cool idea. It's actually a photo box. It's not an album, so if you wanted to sell something in lieu of albums.
So for the client that says, I don't want an album, I just want my images on the disc, but you want to have the opportunity to say, well, let me show you something that's other than an album that you might like more.
Absolutely, yep. And this idea came from our matted album, but what we're doing with this is actually a stencil matting. The matting is personalized to the initial client, you know, the initial pattern of the
So it's got their name here, and that's their initials in the design.
Yep, and then if you pull up the ribbon, you have individual cards printed both front and back. You can either choose to put it on an easel back, which we include.
Oh, so it comes with an easel. That's fantastic.
Yep, comes with an easel, or you can choose to hang it on the wall.
So every week, so instead of having an album that's sitting closed in a coffee table or in a drawer, they can say, you know what? Every week, I'm going to put a different one out on the mantle or on the table.
Yeah.
And that way, it keeps something on display for them. It gives them something that is continually used versus something that you have to pull out.
Sure, and
that's
it really has that impact with the initials pattern,
here,
yep, on the velvet,
and on the ribbon as well.
On the ribbon, and this is just completely different. It's a different idea. So when people are looking at their wedding album, they're not necessarily looking at a book per se, but they're looking at, you know, their like a portfolio of their wedding. So that's really cool.
And I liked this because when I was saying something old to something new, we do still have the bride that comes through and says, you know what, I want an album that's matted, but I want something that's updated, something that doesn't feel like my mother's or grandmother's album, but I don't necessarily want all the digital design work and everything. So same product, but this is the actual album. Talk to me about this one.
Sure. Now, we took that idea and we actually tailored it in a book form. So when you open it, you have the wow factor on the moire. It's actually got the initial pattern of the bridegroom right on the moire. It's got a matching monogram theme throughout. So the monogram on the book,
And
the
it's all raised, so.
Yep. And then all throughout the actual matting, same stencil matting, personalized to the bridegroom, put their names on the book. But the design on this thing is really what makes this book fabulous as well. So you can drag and drop them into a template designer, making your design really easy to
So
do.
you guys have the software or the design element on your side that the photographers can log on and use
Sure.
to design this album.
So
Is it a pretty quick process versus the hours and hours and hours we spend
It is.
making the digital style?
you can actually design a book in about 10 minutes. You
Really?
drag and drop them into a template designer. It's not going to be combative, and the hours and hours that it takes to really do a custom design, you're going to do away with. And
This is just so elegant because it still has kind of that digital feel and flow to it because you got multiple images on there, but at the same time it feels matted and elegant and classic.
Sure.
It's kind of that combination of two worlds into one, which is really elegant.
Yep. So this is one of our newer products, and this is a fabulous, fabulous book. It's you know, with the combination of both the classic and the modern. We've taken it obviously a step farther with the customization of the initial pattern of the bridegroom, and really just thought this book through. I mean, with either a matching monogram motif, you can also do this in a metal cameo or a standard cameo.
So, well, last but not least, the last product, and again, you're carrying through with the names here. I thought literally I had seen every guest book, guest signing variation there ever was. And I think every photographer kind of gets tired of seeing the same things over and over again, and we look for new things that we can offer because brides get tired of that too. So tell me about this because I've never seen anything like this, and I think it's a brilliant idea. I want to share this.
Sure. Well, this is fun. This is actually like a guest signing box. It's not a guest book like you're saying. So we're thinking outside the box. No pun intended. It's got the same monogrammed personalization on the outside of the box. So the client is really
The
wow
same
when they
quality
see-
of this great box that
Right.
you made
So
everywhere
when you
else.
show up at the wedding with this box, your client is like, "Oh my gosh, that is amazing. What is that?" Sure. Indeed, it's actually a guest signing box. When you open it, you have individual cards tailored with A to Z tabs.
So the guests come up and they say, okay, my last name is Smith. They go through and find the S,
Right.
and then they sign and leave a personalized message on the back
Yep.
of the card.
Absolutely.
So now you can go through and say, well, what did Janie Smith have to say for me? And she can pull it up and say, oh, here's all the messages from.
Absolutely.
And it makes it easier for the bride and groom to find the messages from the people that they want to see what they wrote.
Yep.
But it's just a unique way of them being able to go, or the guest to be able to go in and find how they're going to sign, and to be able to incorporate all these great photos from their engagement session is such a cool thing.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And it's, you're going to have fun looking at it, you're going to have fun signing it, and they're going to be talking about it. Oh my God, did you see a guest signing box?
Yeah, I love it. Can I pull these out for a second?
Sure.
Because even on the inside of the box, you've got these slots that hold the cards so that they're not just laying in there, they're actually slotted in. And I'm going to lay them back in there, but just they sit so nicely, and it just, for a guest to walk up and have this really great presentation, it's something that they've never seen.
Sure.
And I think that's what every bride's looking for. They're looking for that wow factor, that next thing that nobody's seen before. I mean, I think everybody by now has signed a guest book or a signature album or the photo on the wall or etched a tray. So to have this great new product that here's something that I can have at my wedding that nobody's seen before. And to be a photographer, to be able to offer that to our clients is phenomenal.
Well, it's a great idea. And this is, just some of the more recent ideas that we've come up with, new products. But everything that we do is really tailored for presentation, quality, and, the product, the end product. And the end product is always, sure to allow your clients, whether it's the guest box, whether it's in books, whether it's a matching case, whether it's a themed album.
So if somebody that's watching this video wants to contact you and learn more about this and sign up with Picto to become one of Picto's clients so they can start producing this great product for their clients, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you just go directly to our website, go to pictobooks.com, register. The registration is free. There's no fees or yearly fees. We validate based on your website or your professional, I guess, whether it's your business or whether it's a portrait studio, we validate based on URL. So
Fantastic.
we validate photographers based on their URL.
Well, it's a beautiful product, Jan. I appreciate you taking the time this afternoon to tell us a little bit about it and share with everybody. And I'm sure everybody's going to really love the chance to get their hands on their first new album for their clients.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.